everyone, welcome to our Profoto e-commerce showroom here in Haarlem. I'm sitting here with our stylist, Irma. Hi, Irma. And we're going to talk about the Magic Mannequin 2. Magic Mannequin 2 is compatible with Vertical, the system you see here in the background. And with that, I hand it over to you, Irma. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and about your background?
Yes, I'm a stylist. I started in '99 as a visual merchandiser. I worked in fashion already for a warehouse. And after 2 years, I became a shop window dresser for a shop window company in Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, and I drove around for 12 years with my van full of decoration. And I did shop windows for fashion brands and fashion shops. And after that, I started working in a photo studio. So I started to be an e-commerce stylist, a senior photography stylist. Mouthful. And I did that for 7 years. And I worked for a large web shop, the biggest one in Holland. And after that, in 2017, I started my own business. And I still do visual merchandising and styling. And I do trainings for Profoto now for 6 years. So I travel around to many photo studios, brands, and I help them with workflow and with styling and with creative styling. So that's I work a lot with the mannequins.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I'm always so impressed by hearing all your background.
Thank you. Me too. When I say it, I think, okay, I do a lot, but it's nice work, yes.
Cool. Okay, well, based on all your experience, then what is the most important thing when shooting products on a mannequin?
Mannequin, yeah. If you shoot on mannequin, it's important that you have the fit right. So the fit is like how it's going to look on a customer. And so that you have to replicate on your mannequin, but it has to be exactly the way it is. And so you need symmetry, and you need to inform the customer how the product looks, how the fabric is, the colors. And it's nice when you have a mannequin, because then you bring your product to life, but not with drama. So you are not distracted from a model or from an outfit.
Yeah. Okay. So basically what you see is what you get here.
Yes. Yeah. What you see is what you buy.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, good. But what's the problem usually with conventional mannequins? Some are not even e-commerce mannequins. They're more window dressing mannequins.
Yes. I started at 2012 in the photo studio for e-com. And then we used mannequins from the shop windows, but they are made to make it dramatic. So they are not in symmetry. So we cut out the head and we cut out the necklines. And so we had, with a saw. And so we had different mannequins for shirts with V-neck or round neck. But it was so difficult because then you are always, a photographer once told me, you are crease police. So you are playing with creases and shadows to make it perfect, because you need in a photo, you need to be consistent, and you don't need distraction. So it needs to be tight and clean.
Okay.
Yeah. And so with the old mannequins, they are heavy, and if you put tape on it, you have the residue of the tape. When you work, you want to shoot a lot of pictures, of course, because then then you save money. And in the end of the day, you can feel your hand hurt because the mannequin's so heavy. Yeah. And also when you put them away, because you work fast, you can chip the material, or you drop them. You are afraid to drop, so I put plastic on the table, bubble foam, and these are things. Because these mannequins are made by people who make mannequins for shop windows. So it's not really thought of the stylist working with it.
Of course. Yeah, that's of course one of the greatest aspects of the new mannequins. Maybe you could also tell us about your experience with them. I mean, you saw some already. So
well, when I first saw them, I thought, how can this be so light? Yeah. That is already a game changer in your workflow, because it's all about workflow. If you have your workflow fast and easy, then you can shoot more pictures and you can sell it more. And I saw the material. It's so nice working with. And I'm a shop window. I use pins. Yeah. And it's better than tape. So the workflow changes. Yeah. Yes. If you put a pin, you can take it out, and it's very easy. Yes. And you can switch easily between mannequins with one hand. You don't have to place them carefully. And you have to be careful with the dolls, but it is a better material to work with. Yes.
Yeah, and you can probably also dress them way faster than you could with the wings.
And in one hand, you can take out and put in the arm. Yes. And there's some nice features that when you have a jacket and you want more space between the arms, I used to put a coin in between. But now there's a feature. Maybe we can show it later on a photo.
Exactly.
That you can reposition the arm and then you can put it away from the body. So it's also easy
That's
to
also,
use.
of course, like a great aspect.
Yeah.
Consistency with the mannequin images.
Yes, and also the necklines.
Yeah.
Because the material is cut out with a very thin wire, I think. And so if you put the necks inside, you don't see the stripes of the shadow. So
through the fabric as well.
yeah, so it's invisible, the necklines. And if you put the most difficult garments to style, I think it's a female blouse, a little bit see-through, and you always see necklines. And now with this mannequin, I like that you don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could have a look at the mannequin and style something together. You could show how you would style this dress.
Yes, I would like to.
Show all the aspects of the mannequin. So yeah, let's have a look.
Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to start with this jeans. It's size 28, so it's an S.
Yeah.
So it fits well on the legs. I always turn them around.
Yeah, it's easier to dress.
Yes, because then you don't need so much space. I see people laying it down on a table, but with this you can easily put it upside down. And then I'm going to shove the jeans on, just turn it around. It's not heavy at all, so it's easy to. So I put them on the poles.
And that's an interesting technology, right? The 2 pins that the mannequin stands on, so it's really stable and secure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always recommend to sometimes check and turn it, because if you're using it, it moves it. So, and then you have the stability.
Yeah. Easy to put on.
Yeah. So I put the close, and you can see that the mannequin looks a bit alien.
Yeah.
The legs. But if you put the jeans on, you can see the fit. And I see the pockets are a bit visible.
So you're smoothing out the legs, and of course, the fit is a bit oversized now, right?
Yes, that's fashion now.
Yeah.
You know, in numbers, always have new issues, because fashion is always changing. And so then you have the low waist, and you have the high waist, and you have to find a way to make them look beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I always want to style what you see is what you buy.
Yeah.
So if this is a slim fit, you have to pin it a bit so it doesn't look flare.
Yeah.
So keep in mind how the customer will wear this jeans. And if you can see, I can turn this around.
Yeah.
You see, you have always problems with styling here. You have the shadows. And with this mannequin, the bum is a little bit thicker. So the fit is so nice. I like it.
Yeah.
You know, I put it on. I don't need so much time styling it. Exactly. Much.
Yeah, it's basically ready to be photographed now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, I put the jeans in front of the glass. I'm going to adjust a bit the legs with my clips. See, now it has to fit like it's supposed to be, and we can take a shot.
I think this looks already quite good. I'm going to make the light a bit more symmetrical on the jeans. Let's focus, and then we can take a shot. Great.
Let me show you something about pinning. Now I put a pin here. You see? It's so easy to make a pin. Normally, I would do this with tape or cardboard, or I take the picture like this, and then you need post-production to take out the mannequin.
Yeah, of course.
And you know what's also so great? You see here, this is a cutout.
Yeah, you have more visible parts.
With the old mannequins, you could see the line of the cutout. You had the shadow behind the dress, and this dress is a little bit transparent, but you cannot see. So here's another cutout, but there are more cutouts.
Yeah.
So if your dress or your sweater has a
smaller V-neck,
smaller V-neck, you don't see the cutout. I like that a lot.
Yeah, perfect.
And the material, you can pin it. Let's see. And you don't destroy the material. You can use it over and over again.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because people told me, do you destroy the mannequin? But it's not. It's
Yeah, it's still quite robust, right? The material. It's lightweight, but still robust.
yes. Cool. Okay. Okay, when I'm ready with the dress shot, I can easily take it off. And I will show you the magnet. You know, I was talking about the coin.
Yeah.
This is the piece that makes the arm stand out. I will show you the armpit. You see here you have all these cutouts. So I can place in the arm easily, but I can leave it at the same different positions, and it stays like this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so you can also take different shots and really have consistent output in the end. But
Yes, so you have the arm in the same position.
yeah, cool. That makes it repeatable. Yeah. Great. So yeah, as you could see, the mannequins, they look a bit alien-like, but in the end, like once the jeans were on, you could really see how great the fit is, right? So then it really resembles.
Yeah, if you put that on and you have the perfect fit. So I don't need so much adjusting, and it saves time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you can do more pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's of course what they were designed to do, basically. So you can dress the mannequin.
And so you could see that I took out the pin, and then it falls. It's so easy with pinning, and the material is very.
You use tape.
Yeah, and you can pin in, pin out, and you don't see the difference.
Of course.
Yeah, it's good material, I want to say.
Yeah. And the cool thing is that you then need to do less retouching in the end. Of course, there needs to be, like a final touch up. That's always the case.
It's always the balance between what I'm going to style and what is what do you do in post production.
Yeah.
But I like to have control of the garment, so I like to do the styling as best as possible, as fast as possible. Yeah. So you have to less retouching. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I would say to round off, Irma, what's your opinion in general on mannequin images, maybe compared to flat lay images, or also, of course, you hinted at the model photography.
Yes, I think it's faster to use. You don't need styling too much. You put it on and you see the fit exactly how it is. You bring your product to life without any drama. You don't get, the customer doesn't get distracted about a model or an outfit. Maybe you don't like the trousers, but you like the t-shirt, so you don't get the distracted. And you can put your garments online immediately, because you don't need to hire the model or the makeup artist. Yeah. And you can do the model shots later to bring it more to life.
Exactly. Yeah. Add video as well to give more of an impression of the garment as well.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, it's great. Of course.
So you have the whole package.
Yeah. You can start right away with the mannequin images. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for that session here with Irma. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can see a lot of information about the Magic Mannequins also here on the page. And we see you soon.